Good evening and welcome to the Safford City Council. Reminder, if you have a cell phone, to please mute it or turn it off. It's up to you. And I'd like to extend a warm welcome to the Hispanic Heritage Coalition as they're here with us tonight. I really do appreciate you guys here. I know that you're on the agenda coming up. And also, Vice Mayor, I want to extend my appreciation to you for handling everything in my absence, and it really means a lot to me. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you. We have a full quorum, and the Pledge of Allegiance is going to be offered by the Vice Mayor, Richard Ortega, by the invocation offered by Matt McCabe. So would you stand with me and remain standing for the prayer, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Catholic, and if you are, feel free to sign the cross. Heavenly Father, we'd like to give you the glory and praise at this hour for giving all of us the opportunity to gather with like great minds that can work together and set forth opportunities to make Graham County a better place. Thank you for getting everyone here safe and help to get everyone home safe. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, I appreciate that. And citizen comments on agenda items, I didn't receive any. Citizen comments on non-agenda items, I have a couple, so in no particular order, I just have them here. Brenda Chacon, if you wouldn't mind going first, and please state your name and your address. And go ahead, and just a reminder that it's 3 minutes discussion, okay? Yeah. And since it's a non-agenda item, we're not allowed to, have dialogue with you, okay?
Right. Hi, I'm just here to try to figure out who I need to talk to about a situation I have on my property. I got somebody else's sewage on my property, and theirs is connected to theirs, and it's all on my property, and it's leaked out, and in my backyard where I have my trees where I sit, I had some sewage spilling out, and the guy that owned the house didn't come till the next day. I had to call somebody to have it tightened. So I've gone to planning and zoning. City of Safford tells me that they can't deal with it, planning and zoning, but when I tell them I'm just gonna cut their pipes and plug them, well, you can't do that. Well, why can't I? It's on my property. I don't know who gave the okay, but somebody had to have given the okay to have this put on my property. And because of health reasons, I need to know from somebody what I'm supposed to do. Because I'm ready to pay a plumber and have them cut it off the sewage system, take it off my property. And that's gonna cause problems for the other two houses that are connected to it, but I can't, have why it's on my property in the first place, I don't know. And it's leaked previously before. So, I think it's a health hazard for us if it leaks again and nobody comes. Then I have to foot the bill for somebody else's pipelines that are on my property that should be on their property. And basically that is why I'm here, because I need to exhaust all my possibilities of what I think that the city or planning and zoning should do.
Okay, Brenda, did you state your address? I'm sorry.
No, I didn't. My name's Brenda Chacon. The address is 607 West 16th Street, Safford, Arizona.
And is this the property that's in question?
Yes.
Okay. John? And can you get, when you get on it, could you get a response back to all of us as well, please? Sure. Brenda, be expecting something.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Also brings us to Rachel Rios Pollock. Did I say that right? I'm sorry. Help me with it. Okay.
Navy.
Would you go ahead and put your name and your address as well, please? Thank you.
Yes, my name is Rachel Ruiz Pollock. I live at 608 16th Street. I don't live there, I own a property there. It was my mother's home. And I'm here because of an issue with the neighbor next door to me. Now, the home next door to me is 606 West 16th Street, and it's owned, the assessor has Doris, and I don't know how to pronounce her last name, which is fine, but the property is owned by Doris. It's on the assessor's page. The problem I'm having, and this has been an ongoing issue for several years, the concern I have and the reason I'm here before you today is because this issue has been addressed several times. We have come to planning, to the development people and complained. And I learned when I complained to Jaime Holguin on the 11th of April that there wasn't even a case folder on this particular property. But it has been going on for a long time. But what the problem is that the homeowner has been irresponsible in maintaining the property. It is, I don't know if it's rented right now. We live in a zoned rented area where people can rent their homes and make money. And I don't know if the people that are there now are squatters or tenants, because there's no electricity, there's no water as far as I can see, and they're living there. So the problem I have is she's had several squatters in and out, and each squatter brings their own property with them. So they have a lot of mechanics parts. They look like the young man fixes go-karts or something like that. It's got a lot of engines in the front yard. In the back, there's an old heritage mesquite tree. It's a beautiful tree, old. And every time it breaks a branch, it falls down. Instead of clearing the weeds and clearing all that mesquite that has fallen to the ground, it's just starting to collect. It's over 6 inches high, and I know your codes say any weeds or bushes over 6 inches. It's not allowed in a private property. The other issue is he has pets. So I don't know how they're disposing of the pets' waste, but that's been an issue. He started cleaning it up, but it's really bad. There's trash. There's 2 cars, one abandoned in the front with a flat tire, on your easement, by the way, and one in the backyard that does not run. Now, these vehicles, the one in the front has only been there a couple of months, but the one in the back has been there a couple of years. And it's just really messy, and I don't want to bring it up what happened in Lone Star with the fire where they couldn't get to the houses because of the mess. Well, this is what this looks like. There are 4 homes around that house, including an apartment complex. And if there was a fire, that mesquite tree would go up like paper. It's a mess, and something needs to be done. And the reason I'm here is I've already complained. Jaime's already taken care of it. He's taken pictures. He sent notice to the owner. The owner appeared last week for a day. I wasn't there. And this morning I woke up. I arrived to my house Saturday, but this morning when I woke up, the front yard, you could see the lawn. Before then, you couldn't see the lawn with all the parts to the cars. But this morning, they cleared the lawn real nice. It looks like, wow, they cleared the front yard, but they didn't. All they did was move all the items along the edge of the wall of the home. So they didn't really solve anything, and that's the problem. You think they're cleaning up, but what they're doing is just making room to bring more. So right now, it is a safety hazard for fire and a health hazard because of the pets.
Okay.
And I don't know what they're using for sewage. Where are they going to the restroom? There's no water running to that house. So that's the other issue I have. So that I just wanted to bring it to your attention. It has been taken care of by the city in the steps that they have to follow. But I just don't want the ball to be dropped because this has been going on. And this is my 3rd complaint. Why there was never a case folder, I don't know.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you coming to us and bringing it to the council. I think that's kind of where, how else do I say it? You know what, it hits the fan, and I think hopefully will.
Well, hopefully it'll be resolved and you won't have to deal with it.
All right.
But just to give you a heads up, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
John, once again, will you
Sure.
follow up with that and get back to the council with that so we can have the update as well? Thank you. That brings us to item 7, which is presentation for the Eastern Arizona Hispanic Heritage Corporation. Councilman Mike Anzola, this is yours. You want to go ahead and take the lead on it?
Yes, Mayor. The Eastern Arizona Hispanic Heritage Corporation is here to make a presentation. Vice Chairman Bob Rivera, Treasurer Secretary Lupe Munoz, and Matt Munoz are here to do the presentation.
City of Sanford, thank you for having us. And we are Eastern Arizona Hispanic Heritage Corporation. I am Lupe Munoz, and I'm a resident of Sanford, 1901 South Bighorn Drive. What we're here for is to ask for more funds, but before we do that, we want to thank you for your support in the previous years. Last year, you supported us by donating to our cause $500, and we'd like to see if that could be repeated, if not doubled. And that's what we're here for. Normally, if somebody would come up to me and ask me for something like that, I would want to know exactly who I am and what I'm doing and why, etc. Well, Eastern Arizona Corporation has been in existence since 2015, and it was under the name Graham County Hispanic Family Heritage Group, and it was not a corporation until 2018, and then in 2019 we became a nonprofit organization. So it is important to let you know that we are a nonprofit organization, and that we have been operating like that since 2019. Okay, and prior to that, we have had activities here in the Mount Graham area, Graham County area, and we started as a poor boys, Mike and I, working out of our homes. And what's our mission? Twofold. Number one, to celebrate our Hispanic heritage, to display it, and to promote it. And that's it. The second one is to promote education. And by that, I mean promoting scholarships at Eastern Arizona College. So it's pretty straightforward. And how do we do that? Is by displaying that Hispanic heritage through annual events that are supported by our community, local businesses, private individuals, and yourselves, as well as Pima, Thatchers, and Clifton, Morenci. All these people, all of us are helping our cause. And we love to display our culture. We love to display the food, the dance, the music, and the camaraderie. The family of the year, yes, those that promote and have a lot of history to promote further the community and become great members of this community, as well as teacher of the year we select. Now, our first year, we started in the parking lot at the American Legion in Salomon. Second year, parking lot at the Bashas. And then the third year, we went to the Plank. The fourth year, we went to Graham County Fairgrounds. And then after that, we set up a double event, one in Morenci at the Morenci Club, and then over here at the Fairgrounds again. Last year, we really lucked out, and we associated with Eastern Arizona College, and they allowed us to work with them to promote our event. Now, this event brings in mariachis, folklorico dancers, and we have food, and we sell the dinner show tables and seats. And it's a production that is very, very very neat, very unique. And something like this in Phoenix would run in the range of $150 to $120, something like that. And we run it here for $55, and we're planning on upping it a little bit because we're going to have it there at Eastern Arizona College again. And those profits that we produce are conveyed into Eastern Arizona Foundation, and we make scholarships out of them. The Eastern Arizona Hispanic Heritage Group does not have anything to do with the size or who the scholarships go to. The foundation does. and they are applied through the website, and they are awarded as they come. And Bob has a little more to input on how the scholarships are distributed. But we have produced approximately $43,000 to date. And one generous donor 1 year donated to us $26,000. And Mike and I were privileged to produce an endowment and submit it to the foundation in our name. And it makes us very proud to tell you that we are going to continue as a corporation. Now, Mike is from Clifton High School, and he's studying.
I won't hold that against him.
Thank you. Viva los Trojans.
He is a Trojan. Anyway, so I'm from Morenci, and Mike graduated from Clifton High School, and he's studying through GCU now, a little bit of government. I went to Morenci High School. I attended Eastern Arizona College. I attended Arizona State University. Thumbs up, everybody. Oh, one down. I sense a wildcat. Anyway, ASU, and then I have a technical registrar certification from the state of Arizona as an engineer, professional engineer. I worked for Phelps Dodge for a few years, and I was the last smelter engineer up there. And I do consulting out of the house. So Mike and I got together and formed this corporation. And then we have Bob Rivera, who's our vice chairman now. Mike is the chairman, I'm the secretary treasurer, and Bob is the retired from Phelps Dodge as well. He was the head of the apprenticeship program, and he filled in as a senior electrical supervisor. And he's been retired about 12, going on 13 years. I've been retired 17 years. So we have a guest with us, an associate, Matt McCabe, and he's originally from Safford. And
Okay.
I'll let him tell you about himself
Bulldog.
in a little bit. Bulldog. You're from Bisbee, right, Bob? Puma?
Yeah.
Puma. Yeah. Anyway, we thank you for your support and for hearing us out. And I'm going to turn it over to Bob and let him tell you a little bit more. And I don't think we have a long ways to go. We're almost done.
Thank you, Lupe, and Mayor Couts, Vice Mayor Ortega, members of the council, and Mr. John. We're privileged to be here, and thank you for allowing us to stand in your presence. Members of the public, Lupe touched up on how much money so far we've made. This year, we'll be giving Eastern Arizona College $9,100 for more scholarships. So far, Safford has enjoyed a little over $17,000 that we've given out to students here in Safford to attend Eastern Arizona College. There's a perception out there, and I think Lupe touched up on it a little bit, that we, the Hispanic Heritage Foundation, or excuse me, corporation, picks the Hispanics. It's strictly for Hispanics. No, it's not. It's open to anybody that puts in for it. Our only stipulation is a C student succeeds. And if it's a C, B, and A student, they qualify. It's up to the foundation and Eastern Arizona College to choose the people. We have no say. We're just an avenue of generating some monies that we can, and we appreciate your help. We also believe that there'll always be a room for a ditch digger. And what's a ditch digger? Not just a person that digs a ditch. They're plumbers, they're electricians, they're welders, and Eastern Arizona College has avenues for that. I know they have mechanics, housekeepers at the hospital. All of these people are ditch diggers, and if we didn't have them, our economy goes down. And talking about economy, bringing these Flocovio and mariachis into town, they got to stay someplace. And we don't pay for their stay. They do. They got to eat. fix a flat tire, might as well get a haircut while they're here. So it helps out in this valley, and we're very proud of this corporation. So one of the things that we do want to thank you about is your support again throughout the whole county. And as you know, I was a former mayor of Thatcher for a number of years.
Bob, you were the people's mayor, and I value that, and I'm trying to follow some of your footsteps.
You'll do that, Mayor. Thank you. But anyhow, I also worked for Phelps Dodge, retired from Freeport, and also from Bisbee, born and raised in Bisbee. But this is an opportunity, and I really enjoy being on this corporation because it's helping people. Lupe touched up on the two missions, education, which educating people and educating the public on the heritage of Hispanics. So, and we have this during the month of September, the middle of September, and also till the middle of October, the Hispanic Heritage Month. And we're proud to present this to everybody, and we thank you so much for the opportunity to present this to you. And once again, thank you for the 500, and if you feel a little bit more generous, we'd appreciate it too. So thank you, and I'll introduce Matt McKay. He's going to be he's going to talk about another economic development thing that we're going to bring to the valley in September. Thank you, Bob.
One of the things that we're going to do this year from September 17th is going to be we're going to open it up with a car show, and it's going to take place at Eastern Arizona College, South Campus. It's going to be a large, big to-do. And in the evening, we're going to have the dinner show. We're bringing in talents from Dallas, and we're bringing in talents from Tucson. And so it's going to be a real great thing. The dinner's going to be provided by Eastern Arizona Corporation. But the reason Matt is here is because he has associated with us. He is another one of our group members, and I'll let him tell you about his corporation or his company.
Thank you, Bob and Lupe. Thank you to all the councilmen and mayor and vice mayor for letting us have the opportunity to come talk a little bit tonight. I'm kind of excited to see so many of my customers. They talked a little bit that I've worked at Safeway. I've been at Safeway for over 21 years, and I've gotten to develop great relationships with a lot of my customers. And it's nice to see a lot of friendly, familiar faces in here too, and a coworker. Good evening. Like they said, my name is Matt McCabe. I'm a lifelong resident of Safford. Some of you might remember my parents. My dad, Marvin McCabe, he was a sergeant for Safford Police Department, retired. And my mother, Jessie McCabe, she retired from FCI Safford. So we've been here my entire life. I was actually born at the hospital here. And let's see. So I'm here tonight as associate member of the Eastern Arizona Hispanic Heritage Corporation to introduce McCabe Production car shows. I established that this year after a decade of organizing and assisting in car shows throughout the Southwest, and to assist in any fundraising we can do, especially for local nonprofits. And we just adding to all the attractions of the Gila Valley to entertain not just the local residents, but to make our area a desirable place for out-of-towners to come visit. The car shows that I've assisted and organized, they give local vendors financial opportunities, and as well as draw exhibitors and vendors from all over the Southwest. I'm very excited and honored to partner with EAC this year, not just to provide a community service, but to generate exposure for the scholarships available at EAC. I'm dedicated to make this an annual partnership and to keep Safford and Graham County, and apparently the Pumas make everything a great place to live, work, and visit. Thank you.
Thank you. So Mike, you want to kick us off with some discussion?
So I know what the council's feeling is on this.
Well, I know that we've allotted X amount of what we contribute to and what we don't contribute to, but you know, I don't know why we can't go $1,000, if not more. And Huh? So,
Just discussion, it doesn't say action.
well, yeah, it's
Mayor,
discussion. Go ahead.
This would be
I'm sorry,
part
I'm
of your.
jacked up.
Well, it's part of your council budget, so what we would do is, as we go into the budget presentation part, when we get to the city council budget, we can discuss it at that point if you want to make any changes to your budget.
Okay, so it'll be on down further?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it just says discussion, and I'm discussing that I'd like to give them more money.
Okay, I just putting it out there rather than
Okay.
during the presentation.
Well, I mean, if not, then it would just fall on its sword coming to the end of the budget. So anyway, that's just my 2 cents. You guys, if we want to take it down further on this, we can as well, but if there's no more discussion, let's just move on. All right, thank you. That brings us to item 8, budget. Mayor and council, Mrs. Palma, come on up. Yes.
Just a little lead-in on this one. I had a couple of inquiries on this subject. One was during a council meeting. I had some after the council meeting. So we decided we'd bring some data back to you just so you guys could get a look at this and see if council's interested in doing anything with it. So we figured we'd provide some context rather than not following up on the issue at all.
Okay.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. So this presentation, as John mentioned, is to bring discussion to mayor and council member wages and benefits and to be provided with direction for any future changes. This first slide, cities and towns with the closest populations were selected for comparison, along with Thatcher and Pima for a look at local practices. At a quick glance, City of Safford mayor and council member wages are higher or equal to other entities when compared to other municipalities close to our size. Do you have any questions on this slide? This next slide shows the same cities and towns for comparison and what they pay for mayor council member benefits as far as premiums. At a quick glance, City of Safford is closely comparable, if not better, as far as percentages paid by the city, especially when premiums for fiscal year 2022 and 23 are increased from 70% paid by the employer to 85%. Premiums being paid for employee only is slightly lower compared to most, but still comparable at 90%. We've got a few options here if there were to be changes. Option 1 is a 10% annual base increase. So currently the mayor makes $1,000 a month, and with this option it would go to $1,100 a month. Annually from $12,000 to $13,200. Council members make $600 a month. This would take them to $660 a month, or annually from $7,200 to $7,920. As far as this slide, what this slide shows is the first column is what we pay as far as mayor and council member employer-related expenses, which is about $97,000. If we did this option, costs would go up to approximately $107,000 per year, and then so the annual difference is close to $10,000 a year.
On these slides that you've presented, you didn't show anything with how much gets taken out of the check. It just shows the $1,000. I can assure you that I don't make $1,000 a month.
Right, so the
When
premiums.
it's all said and done, you guys, I think I make 230. I don't care.
So it's a
I'm
little
not doing
different
it
for
the
everybody
money.
as far as
I can assure you that.
as far as the different tiers that you choose for your benefits. It's different for everybody. But so like I mentioned, it's 70% paid by the city. It will go to 85% paid by the city next fiscal year. Option 2 is a flat annual base increase of $1,500 per council member and $3,000 for mayor. So what this would do is take the mayor's wages from $1,000 a month to $1,250 a month, or annually from $12,000 to $15,000. And for council members, it would go from $600 a month to $725 a month, annually $7,200 to $8,700. So as far as the annual costs for the city, as I mentioned before, we're paying about $97,000 a year. It'd go up to $117,000 per year, which is about a $21,000 difference. those are the two options we've presented, and if you guys would like to discuss.
Just pay everybody flat across the board $1,000. There don't need to be no difference between a mayor and council member. They're all one vote.
Okay.
That's my 2 cents.
Any other
You
thoughts?
guys,
I agree with the mayor.
But then that's a raise for the council.
It is.
I'm happy with what I get myself.
I'm good where I'm at.
I think the original intent was to attract more people to run for council. So I guess really it depends on if you feel like increasing those wages, along with the benefit change that we're already doing, if you feel
What's
that
going to attract
would be
people
helpful.
to run for council and even be employed with the city of Safford is to get to 100% pay their insurance. That's what'll get people to run.
Well, I'd like to make a
Go ahead,
comment.
Vice Mayor.
You know what, if somebody wants to join the council because of the pay, to me, that's the wrong idea.
That's right.
You want to get on the council to help the citizens and that. It's not the money.
And I don't disagree with the vice mayor, and I, at the same time, agree completely with the mayor. Nobody's gonna run for council for the pay. But if we can make it slightly more incentivized for other people considering running, I just think that's a positive. And I don't disagree that the full benefit package would probably be even more enticing. And for me personally, I wouldn't, it would be fine with me if we changed it, if it didn't impact me at all until I was replaced on council, and then my replacement as a new council member would, I know that's not the rules, but I'm saying that would be fine with me. I'm not looking for an increase myself, but I would like to see us, I'd say more competitive, but we are pretty competitive with others, other than Thatcher, for example, with their 100%.
Right.
But maybe Thatcher and Pima would also adjust theirs to be more competitive with us and have hopefully the same potential results of having more people consider running.
Right.
I think the thing is, this year, the staff has brought to us adjustments that we've made through different department heads and different areas in this budget, as much as I followed, in the fact that we're also initiating COLA, or we're initiating an increase, a percentage increase, and yet the budget of the mayor and council always stays the same. It never sees anything. We just upped the fire chief. He's on a deal where he always has a percentage of growth too, and there's never nothing here until council agrees to either change it or not. I think there should be something in place if we're making it, because I've always heard from different council members that if we do it for the employees, then it's good enough for us. Hello, exactly. So if you've given it to the people, or if you've given it to your workers, then it should be across the board the exact same. Therefore, why the council's split on going 100% and staying at 90? I agree with Councilman Hemphill when he sits there and says, make it a different incentive of 100%. But then you're saying, okay, then you're a tier higher than your employees. Okay, then let's do that. Let's just say, okay, 100%. And that's going to screw up your entire budget. I'm just saying there's got to be some kind of incentive. If you say in the meeting that if your employees, it's good enough for that, then it needs to be the exact same across the board. And there has not been a raise. If you go back from when this was first adopted, there has not been an increase in any of it for, I don't know how long it has been established. It's been established way before me. I just think that it sucks that when the council previous picked it at that much money, they didn't show increments of increase, which everything should. I mean, honestly, you're having to go with the inflation of today. Good, that's scary enough. So I just, I challenge the council to listen to themselves speak when they speak, and yet when you come to this item, you hit a roadblock every time.
Well, I think it's a good, fair standard practice to definitely look at it on an annual basis along with other employees, for sure. It only makes sense, so.
Two more quick points. One, when we talk about I'm fine. These types of decisions, and actually pretty much every decision we make, it's about the next city manager and the next
Right.
department head and the next councilman, I'm not making this decision based on me and right now. So I want to make that clear. And number two, I'd rather consider one of these, if we make the mayor the same as the councilman, who would ever want to run for mayor?
Exactly.
So if I'm following my same logic, there's no way in the world the mayor and it shouldn't be the same.
And Mayor, just as an FYI, the examples given weren't intended to be what you need to do. They were just intended to give you an idea of magnitude if we went with a percentage versus an amount. So again, don't get locked into the examples. They're just there just to give you a sense of what the impacts would be.
And it is just a discussion item, so if
Right.
you guys want to see anything else, we can certainly bring it back if you have other ideas.
Mayor, I just had one comment.
Go ahead.
And, you know, as you showed that first slide, and we do make more money than any other council, a city our size. And so I think there's a Page, I think they get the same amount for council members as we do. But like you said, our health benefit's gonna be as good or better than anyone's. And it's like the vice mayor said, this is something that you do if you want to try to contribute to the welfare of your neighbors.
Right.
Councilman Anzola, you have anything?
I just agree with you on what you said. That's all I can say.
You agree or disagree?
I agree.
Have anything, Councilman McGlory?
I'm kind of embarrassed at what I get paid for what little I do. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
Councilman Lopez?
We're in the middle, I'm good. But do you know when it would take effect if it was to go forward?
Just next fiscal year, 22, 23.
Next fiscal year, so there's.
Well, this upcoming, 22, 23, yeah.
It's not, next council that gets voted in or anything
No,
like that?
these options, we're able to handle it this budget coming up.
But yeah, we're in the main, I feel comfortable with it.
I'm not. You councilmen should get more than what you get. It's a disgrace. I'm just telling you straight up. But whatever, and it ain't even an election year for me. I'm just telling you that it's a disgrace for you guys. You guys should get more.
And Mayor, just, I think you have to go through an election cycle.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
So
before
if we
gets
do
in.
it, if we vote on it, and it's not a vote item, but if it's voted on, then you gotta go through an election cycle, and then that
Right.
next election cycle gets the
Right.
increase.
So it wouldn't
Exactly.
impact next fiscal year, but it would kick in
Absolutely.
after the new council was seated.
So I said my piece. All right, thanks, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bring us to item 8.2, preliminary budget. Sabrina?
You can pull down the mic now.
Oh, they fixed it.
Way down.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. As requested in our previous meeting, the department directors will be presenting to you their budgets tonight. Departments to be covered will be coming from the general fund, internal service funds, and in the enterprise funds. Capital projects are included in the worksheets where applicable. As a reminder, this budget includes the premium changes for those insurances currently at the 70-30 employer-employee split to an 85-15 split, as well as a 1.5% increase effective in July 2022 in the second part of the longevity program. I'll begin tonight with the City Council's budget. If there's any changes that you would like to be made while we go through it, please let me know.
Well, while you're speaking, we get to talk to you?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure, because we weren't allowed one time there, so I just want to make sure.
So the various retirements for the council, the percentages have increased for the employer contributions. The City Council budget provides donations from the city to the community. Currently, there are 10 entities that are being budgeted for to receive donations. A list of those entities have been provided in our council packet. The downtown facade grant has been moved from
Whoa,
the
whoa, whoa,
planning.
whoa. Did you already go past the city council, or are you on it right now?
I just zoomed in so you
Oh,
could
okay.
see the list right there.
'Cause I'm gonna ask for this money.
The downtown facade grant has been moved from planning community development to the city council budget for consistency. And aside from the various contributions, the city council budget also covers the utilities for the Boys and Girls Club and the Safe House.
All right, so, I'm asking for 1,000 for the Eastern Arizona Hispanic Heritage Corporation, and I'm also asking for an extra 1,000 for the Junior Basketball League.
I would like to, you said, you want to take from the 500 to 1,000?
Yes.
I'd rather just give them 1,000 to take it up to 1,500. I think they
There
do
you go.
a darn good job, so that's where I'm at.
I'd support that one as
1,500.
well.
Yeah.
How much
And
does it cost to support a kid?
And I agree with.
2,700.
My kids?
Mayor, I agree on the junior basketball
Yeah,
program.
I received a letter, and I think that they're growing and they're expanding, and I think that it needs to be increased.
Mayor,
Go ahead.
I think we need to leave some window in there because with the change in our parks and our possible IGA with the school coming forward, we may have some other entities like the volleyball program or something like that that's on the horizon that you may want to consider. There's other things that are going to be looked at and come forward. They just haven't reached Jamie yet. So I don't know if you want to build some cushion in there.
Let's
If
go
you
with,
think
let's,
we will
let's give
do
them
that
10,
or not.
let's give them 10,000 with the release of 6,000 this year. And that gives you a 4,000 cushion for.
I'm not saying I want to give it away, I'm just saying it's going to get taxed.
Did we, Sabrina, I got the letter as well. Did we get any official request from
Not
Mr.
the volleyball.
Ragland there?
Not
But
yet.
that was, one of the goals was maybe to expand it into volleyball, or even maybe bring the grade level down earlier for the basketball, correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, there's been conversations, but there's been
Right.
no official request.
Okay, because I agree with expanding it to whatever extent we're able to.
And
To be
Mayor,
ready for it.
I'm sorry.
To be ready for it,
Exactly.
because you're going to get asked.
Mhm.
And again, Mayor and members of council, it is a budget, it's a plan, so if you want to put money in there now, if it doesn't occur, you won't spend it, but if you do need it, it'll be in there. So better to put it in and then not need it than to not put it in and need it.
Well, I don't know that what pocket we're going to get it out of, but with the parks recreation thing on the horizon, we may get it out of that pocket. It's just something I wanted you to think about.
Don't steal out of my parks. I need my
But
parks built.
We can still do 10 now
I
and
think so.
not use it.
I think go up that budget for the basketball league to 10,000 and dedicate 6,000 for this year. That's a 1,000 increase with the cushion of 4,000
Right.
in case a volleyball league did kick off or
Right.
whatever. That gives that opportunity for that kind of growth. I think, guys, if we're not pledging to our kids, we're hurting ourselves.
And don't forget,
You guys just took away what the council could get, so why not give it back to the community, right? Anybody else?
Okay, so I'm still,
Are you okay with that too?
I agree, okay, I just want to make sure. We're talking about adding 1,000 to the junior basketball league, right?
Adding 10,000, but giving them 6 for this year.
Okay, and then increasing the heritage to
15K.
15. Okay, I'm with it.
The thing I asked Councilman Anazola was, what does it cost to get a kid, to sponsor a kid, or whatever it's
Sponsor is
called?
2,700.
It's 2,700, and I don't know, you guys are gonna hate me, but I'd probably say, why doesn't the city of Safford sponsor a kid through the Hispanic Corporation at $2,700? And, I mean, then, one of you councilmen can go up there with them and present that award to them and stuff, and they go and educate at Eastern Arizona College, and who knows, they have a potential of coming back to work for us as a welder or as whatever the mayor has said, exactly. I think that would be a huge attribute.
In our past years, we have
contribute to Sanford students who have lived here and are attending EAs, almost $17,950 since our inception. That doesn't include the other towns around, but yes, you're correct.
Yeah. Vice Mayor, how do you feel about that?
Fine.
You like that?
I think Mr. Ragland's gonna walk in any minute now if he's watching us.
Yeah, that would be nice. So I would present a $2,700 increase, or $2,700 to Hispanic Heritage that we are actually sponsoring. And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. And then put $10,000 in the Junior Basketball League fund, but $6,000 is definitely allocated for today's use. And then the $4,000 is the cushion if he increased a junior volleyball league, or if another individual wanted to come in and start a junior volleyball league, that we might want to call this, the junior basketball league, we might want to slash, whatever, but that gives you a 4,000 cushion. You guys liking that approach? Okay, Councilman Steele?
I just think I think you kind of alluded to there at the end, but I'm not necessarily in favor of putting 10,000 in the junior basketball league. If you want to give them an extra 1,000, that's one thing, but if we're going to put another 5,000 away, it shouldn't be earmarked for the basketball league. It should be put in a separate fund, and then it could be used, some kind of a recreation fund or a youth recreation fund, so that it doesn't even have the junior basketball league's name on it, but it could be used for whatever purpose we would want to.
Right, and we know, right, and I agree with you, Councilman Steele, we know that 5,000, the junior basketball league, we've already contributed to. I wanted to up that, and so I think we just say, we create a $10,000 league, junior sports league, and 6,000 is earmarked for Ed Ragland's junior basketball league. And then, for sure. And then next year, we can up that if we need to, if they come to us with the volleyball, because I think right now, it would be really hard for them to start the volleyball league. But I think the basketball league is something that's already been established and it's been working very well at a shoestring budget, to be honest with you, because I know what Mayor used to give for Thatcher's basketball league, and ours is just not even a drop in the bucket for what Thatcher would produce to it. So I think, are you okay with that increase? Are we okay there?
Yeah. I just want to make sure, okay, on the Hispanic Heritage Fund, are you okay with what's been said?
I'd like to say something, Mr. Mayor. If you want to, you could dedicate it to a Sanford student, and it could go to the nursing program or any other subject that EA offers, but you can dedicate that if you want.
As long as it's not putting too much strings on you guys. If it's not, then I think.
We're here to drum up some money for Eastern Arizona College.
Okay.
Some lucky student could get that money and succeed.
Yeah, and
To also clarify that, it's that we have done it exactly what you're talking about with the town of Clifton. And we also have done it with individual donors who requested their money be specific to like a nursing program or things like that.
Absolutely.
Clifton requested a resident of Clifton. So we're flexible in that direction. And so we can help, we can work with you.
Okay.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
I didn't mean, I don't even know what pocket we're gonna get this money out of yet.
Well, this is just, it'll be in the budget.
It'll be, but we're not gonna be sponsoring events, we're gonna facilitate them. And we're not quite sure what we're gonna do yet, but I wanted to make sure, till we get it built, I don't see earmarking something. It's just, we know when we do go forward with the IJ, with the school, hopefully, that people are gonna be coming to us. So I wanted to be prepared. That's where I was going with it.
Okay, so then,
I
feel like we're beating this up,
Yeah,
but so
we're
let me
beating it up.
ask you this then, Councilman Lopez. Would you be okay, and I'm gonna even ask for more now, or would you be okay for me going for 10,000 for a junior sports league and then giving 6,000, 10,000 to that league, period, to a junior sports league, and then going 6,000 to the junior basketball league?
Junior sports.
No, I'm asking for I'm asking for 16,000 now.
No, not yet, because I don't know where it's coming from. I do want to support sports, and that's what I've been trying to do for years, but I don't know who's going to come forward with it yet. Let's have it there, and we figure it out. Because, I mean, we got hundreds of girls playing softball, and they got nowhere to practice right now. And little kids playing t-ball, they got nowhere to practice. There's a lot of other factors still involved that we haven't touched. And I'm hopeful for what we got going, but I want to be prepared for it. But there's a lot of good ideas, but it just cringe because I don't know the target yet. That's
okay. Well, I hate using the word.
I don't disagree with you.
I hate using the word earmark because that's what our big federal government does, and earmarked to death, and so I don't even like that word. But I do know that we're already supporting the junior basketball league of $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
I asked for another increase, and I kind of got some help with that as well. So that was then that would increase that to 6,000 as an earmark, and then I had some others that said, well, let's have a cushion built in there. Well, the only way I'm going to give you a cushion is if I ask for 10,000 to give you a 4,000 cushion. So my question is, are we okay to start with $10,000, quote unquote, earmark 6,000 to the basketball league, and leave the 4,000 as a cushion? It could be used or it may not be used.
Yeah.
I want to support a kid from Safford, Arizona, from the school, and we're going to support them in the funds of $2,700, and we'll let them work together and come back with us and say, hey, we really think that it would be more beneficial this year to support a kid for nursing, or next year it could be welding, or it could be whatever, and let them kind of help, because that's the purpose of the Hispanic Heritage Corporation. Let them kind of help work with us as well. So my question is, are you guys can I ask for 10,000 in the league and earmark 6,000, and I want $2,700 to support the Hispanic Heritage? That's what I'm asking for, and we need to move on and give Cabrina a little bit of direction that she can try to gather from this communication.
I'm with it, so.
Come on, yes.
And so, Mayor, the 2,700 is not 1,500 and 2,700?
No, it's 2,700, and we're supporting a kid.
Okay.
We're supporting a youth. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. We're supporting a young adult that's going to graduate.
That's not in addition to the 500 we're doing now, that would be a total.
That's a total.
Okay.
You guys good?
If she can crunch the numbers, it's probably going to be good.
Okay.
The Mayor, since council's feeling generous.
What are you asking for?
I did want to bring up an idea that we had talked about in the past regarding the Downtown Association. And now they get $5,000 for a facade program. And I wanted to find out if council would be interested in funding an additional $5,000 for projects. And this year, we're looking at replacing some banners in the downtown. Now, previously, they were done with a grant. And so what I'd like to see, if council's interested in doing things to support more in the downtown, so do the facade program, and then have an additional $5,000 that they can do on a project basis. And then every year, any monies that go unexpended, they could roll over and accumulate a peak of, say, $15,000 as a reserve, which would then give them some money to do maybe larger projects. So I know we talked about this in the past, so I thought I would bring it back now just to see if council had any interest at all.
Do you?
Go ahead. At this time, I'm not, because I would like to hear from them once in a while. We never hear about what they're, really what they're doing. So, so I'd like to hear. Go ahead.
And that's where I was going to kind of echo as well, as I would like to know, like with the downtown facade grant, like, is it benefiting, is it helping the customers? And how many have used it within the last year? Is it used up? Is it not used up? And, there's been some pictures of stuff. I don't know if we even give to, if we help with the facade grant on
Business support?
Well, I want to make sure it's for actual businesses, not,
It is.
not corporations that are, what is it, what are you guys, a
Profit.
nonprofit? Yeah, I don't think we should be offering this for a nonprofit. I think we should be offering this for businesses that are needing to beautify their front end to attract business into it. So I would have to agree with the Vice Mayor at this time.
I realize I haven't come here very often, but this is the first time we've heard from the Hispanic Heritage Corporation as well, and I've never failed to support them because of that. And Councilmember Lopez and I contribute every year personally to it because it's something we believe in. And,
Yes.
I attend the small business or the Downtown Business Association meetings when I can. I've sat in on their Facade grant awards, and I'll just tell you that to take a close look at it. These are supposed to be matching funds. However, I think, Jamie, you were there, I think it's like a 6-to-1 match. I mean, the money that we've contributed over the years has been 6 times that amount has been expended by these business owners. So, and it beautifies the city, and it helps to attract people and businesses. And so, but the thing that we had talked about before we started talking about the projects was the one thing early on was that we would allow them to have access to the entire 5,000, be able to roll some of that over so that they don't feel like at the last minute they've got to just get that money out because they're going to lose it. And so we had talked about that early on in the year, allowing them to roll any of that 5,000 over. And then I think the thing that Mr. Casella came up with on the special projects, anything that's done beautifies our city. And that's another goal I think that we have or should have. We have a lot of activities down there and attract a lot of people from out of town. And so me personally, I don't have a problem with it.
So you'd support bumping that up to 10?
I would.
Mayor, who's
Hold on.
I agree with Councilman Seal, and I was gonna make the same point. We don't hear from, at least since I've been here, any,
Right.
other than the chamber occasionally.
Right.
And I don't think that diminishes our trust in what they're doing. And the banners, for example, they're getting pretty faded if you've been downtown. I'd love to see an additional 5,000 to the Downtown Association.
Mayor, who is the liaison to the Downtown Association right now?
Mr. Steele?
I am.
Okay, all right. You know, I've always supported them, and I feel that they're doing a great job, so I'm in agreement, so, with that.
Sounds like we're generous.
I
What
thought
else
I'd
you
get
guys
it in there
wanna
while
ask
you were
for?
feeling that
You
way.
started the ball rolling.
I guess I did.
Thank you.
All right, so let's bump that up to 10,000. I can count to 4. So I think you got some monies you got to take away from somebody to put it there. So you're good. We're good to go on, Sabrina. Anybody else want any more money on anything? Go ahead.
I just figured I'd ask one.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. The city council will move on to our debt service department. So
And what page is that, Sabrina?
it is page 17 of 132.
17.
So within the debt service department, this is for the general fund and streets. We do have the bond, the bond payment for the police unfunded liability, which was approved by council and completed at a 4.421 interest rate with an anticipated annual debt cost of $870,000. Our next department is our economic development fund. So unless council directs otherwise, the staff has budgeted to continue the 50% water capacity fee subsidy and 100% sewer capacity waiver for residential customers abandoning a septic tank and connecting to the city system, as well as a waiver of residential building permits. This fund was created in 2019 with a beginning balance of $1 million. Since then, approximately $599,000 has been expensed, resulting in a remaining balance of approximately $401,000. For fiscal year 2023, we are requesting to budget $300,000 overall. Did the mayor and council wish to amend any of that, or are we good?
Is that 300,000 additional, or?
No, that would be, 150,000 for the water development fees for the sewer and the water waivers, and then 150,000 for the building permits, the waiver for that, for the small business support.
And no more housing incentive.
No.
I guess we can move on.
I ain't talking.
Okay, so with that, I will hand it over to Jason
What?
Brimhall.
Do you need something real quick, Arnold?
Well, I don't know if Jason has
Utility support is up next.
utilities, because we're short people. Did you guys confuse me? Sanitation and the landfill.
Sanitation of the trucks.
Sanitation, we're short a couple of people. And we plan on bringing them back for a hire, because we're getting 2 trucks too. But we're gonna stay short-handed? Okay. All right, Mr. Henry, thank you.
Evening, council and council members. Mayor Couch, good to see you. Specifically talking to this budget item, the biggest impact to this budget for the year is my transfer out of the city manager's budget into the utility support group. And then just the changes in the insurance premiums and the employer portion increases within that.
Anybody got any questions? Let's keep going.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm not as good at scrolling as Cabrina. I give people headaches, so I appreciate the opportunity to go over some of my budgets tonight briefly. Starting in the fleet department, we have a small increase due to salary and benefits and motor pool fees, but and that's in our operations, but there is a minor change in our capital outlay. Has reduced a little bit due to our enterprise fleet agreement. It's a pilot program for 20 vehicles this year. So our capital outlay is not quite as much in the fleet department because those charges will be to each department that's getting a fleet vehicle. Is there any questions on the fleet budget itself? Now I've got sanitation, Councilman Lopez.
Yes.
I'll just briefly say there's a minor decrease due to personnel changes. We have one employee that does work 50-50, part-time sanitation, part-time streets, and he's paid for out of each department respectively. We're down a half man with that position being split. So we're not down people, we're down a half position, and we were able to make that work by splitting. We saved an employee by working routes out that way to where we can cover Monday, Tuesday with that half employee, and then he works streets Wednesday, Thursday. We had a part-time employee that we hired full-time, and when we made her full-time, it helped us out a lot. So we're not down anything other than that half position.
Hey, we're not putting any undue burden on other employees.
No. We have everything covered. The two trucks you're talking about that we plan on financing this year are built into this budget. That'll be transferred into fleet. The fleet will purchase the vehicles. That's to replace 2 vehicles. It's not buying 2 additional sanitation trucks. It's replacing 2 old trucks.
Yeah, you shocked me with that
Yeah,
6 months ago.
those are those are expensive vehicles, but they're all getting old and they're all breaking down a lot, and it's time, and it's past time to replace them. And these ones that we have budgeted for this year, more than likely we won't see them for over a year. The one we already approved budget we had ordered, we probably won't see that till the end of this year, this calendar year. So that's the hope. So if we can get them ordered now, maybe we'll see them next year. Any questions on sanitation budget? Moving on to landfill, Briefly, there's a small increase. We kind of did a one-off here. Last year's budget, we had $100,000 budgeted for a rental of a scraper while our scraper was getting rebuilt. We won't have that in this year's budget, but we did put in there $75,000 for the environmental assessment. We're working with BLM still on that expansion up there. Now we have to go and hire an environmental firm to do the environmental assessment on the property, so we budgeted $75,000 in there for that professional service. We have to hire a BLM-approved firm that can do all that work, and that's a long process, but we're still working on it. So, other than that, I think everything else is just minor increases due to salaries and benefits on the landfill side. Any questions on the landfill budget?
How's the fund building on that one? The debt fund?
That's a good question for Cabrera. I think it's slowly building.
Slowly?
Slowly. That's the plan. We got time to build it, right?
It's just one of two enterprises that we don't have fully funded yet.
And that one's the one that we're working on for that closure. By the time we do that closure in 20-plus years, we hope to have that in place.
You'll have a place for me out there.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, if there's no more questions, I'll let Morgan step up here.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. In the Water Division, we do see an increase in salaries. This is due to the increase in the premiums for coverage of the 8515. We're also seeing an increase in position reclassification and in addition to a position. So the division has recognized the need to create a new mid-range position and reclassify the lead position, which will increase the knowledge and skill levels of the lead employee. By breaking this division out into 3 tiers, we will be creating the opportunity for succession and growth within the employees. Each position will be clearly defined by increased expectations, ability to instruct and direct other employees, required skills, and maintaining the system. Operations with various types of heavy equipment and required leadership abilities. This change would cost an additional $27,000 in the Water Division budget. We also set aside $10,000 for water conservation and public outreach. This will assist in promoting water conservation. These funds will be utilized to purchase low-flow fixtures and other items to help with education and practice of conserving this valuable natural resource. These educational opportunities will be done through different public events and social media platforms. There's also been...
Hold on one second.
Would that be the play? One of my biggest concerns is our water issue is going to be, it's not going to improve, it's going to get worse and worse. I'm very concerned about educating the public. I don't think we're doing enough of it. It should be a consistent thing to remind them about conserving. Is this where it would be in the budget?
Mayor, Vice Mayor Ortega, that's an excellent question. And this is kind of a kickstarter to that water conservation and educational program, to where we can then buy these fixtures and talk to the public, have possible raffles to give these fixtures away. And by doing so, we can talk to the public of educating them about irrigation, what they can do differently to change habits within the household to save on this water.
As long as, sorry.
Mayor, Vice Mayor Ortega, we've already had discussions about rolling out a plan. I met with the utility director and some of the staff, so we kind of put together a very comprehensive plan, and so there's already something in the works where you will see that plan probably around the end of May. So we'll be bringing that back to you so you can get a look at it before we roll it out.
I think a lot of it too stems with the educating of getting into the schools. One of the things that always stood out was the presentation that Pima would give. What is that? Graham County Utilities. They'd always have that electric shock thing and show the little truck go by and somebody cutting a tree down. And that just really impacted the kids as well. And so I think the big key is the educating, spending that and getting into the schools. Once you educate the kids to conserve water, they're gonna be the ones telling mom and dad to shut the, because that's just, I mean, it is me. I leave the dang water going all the dang time. And, you know, but you know, when you get the kids involved, they're like, hey, shut the water off, you know, and so once you educate the kids, then that's the generation that's going to conserve. So I think that's the big thing. It's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. So, go ahead.
And that's where these funds would be utilized towards, is assist in that type of education. There's also addition to the training with federal guidelines of CDL requirements. There's going to be an additional cost incurred by the city to assist these employees to obtain their CDL. This is going to be a class-based training for a 10-week period. Employees have to go to EA and actually now sit through a class to be able to test and drive for their CDL. So there's an additional cost added to the budget in the certification and training portion. Are there any questions? The water budget? If not, we'll move on to the wastewater. So in the wastewater department, we'll see an increased cost in the benefit premium increase, similar to the water. And then we'll also mirror the position reclassification and creation for the lead and the mid-range employee. There's also debt service. This debt service in the wastewater division is to cover the cost for the installation of the reclaim pipeline from relation to the fairgrounds. This project has actually already been kicked off. They're going to be starting at the highway and working their way towards relation. This project is scheduled to be completed the first quarter of 2023. This project will allow the city to use 50 million gallons of recycled water in place of potable water. The city will also have the ability to irrigate the city-owned parks with recycled water in the place of potable water. These parks would include Glen Meadows, El Paso, and the planned 8th Avenue Park. Are there any questions in the wastewater budget? If not, we'll move to the wastewater treatment. There is an increase in professional services. The professional services rate is based off of the Water and Sewer Maintenance Consumer Price Index. That price index increased 3.7% from last year. However, the contract caps that increase to 3%, so we will see an additional 3% in the professional services for the wastewater treatment. There's also an additional $20,000. The city disposes of the wastewater treatment plant sludge in the landfill each month for a total of roughly $60,000 per year. By conditioning the sludge, the city will be able to sell this product with the ability to apply the sludge to agricultural land for fertilization with no restrictions or permits needed. $20,000 has been included in the budget for cost-benefit analysis to consider the ability to apply this material to land for beneficial use.
That's an interesting one. We'll have to see where that goes.
Yeah, so the city of Safford used to apply the sludge to the land several years ago, and then there was restrictions and applications that were needed, and so now we dispose of it in the landfill. And so we kind of want to look at other avenues and how we can efficiently utilize this for beneficial use, and if it would save us money to do so. Are there any other questions?
So, how many tons?
The tons, I don't know, but approximately, we can get that information, but approximately we spend $60,000 to take it across the scale per year. Not, then we'll move on to the next division, which is gas. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, council members, I'll try to keep it short. Our budget will increase $139,936. Part of the increase will be $50,000 to our gas purchase, which gas is going up. When we first did this, it was about $2 per MMBTU. It's almost at $3-4 currently. Our training budget increased about $1,000. We have an employee that's interested in going into welding classes, one of our newer employees. Our operating supplies removed about $12,000. We also had an increase of $79,000 in our internal services funds. And that's pretty much it. Is there any questions, comments?
You're also making different tiers in your department too.
We've had the same tiers, we haven't changed them.
Same tier, okay.
Mayor, council members, the budget increases for the electric are due to changes in benefits, membership dues, insurance, franchise fees, fuel, supplies, and a tree relocation program. This is a pilot program that we're trying to encourage our customers to get rid of problematic trees by having us remove them. We've given them either an option to replant a tree in another area worth about $100 or $100 off of their utility bill. And we also, since our CIP meetings, we had an addition to the Hollywood Road project over there for widening that road. During the design phase of that project over there on Hollywood Road, we realized that the pole line over there needs to be relocated to the south about 12 feet. So we added that into our CIP not to hold up that project. And we're going to try to do a majority of that in-house as far as the pole installation. And we might need to contract out part of it. That's about it for us. If you have any questions, I'd be...
And that's gonna remain overhead? You're not going underground through there?
No, it's going to remain overhead. Overhead would double price.
Underground, then.
Yeah, underground would double
Yeah,
price.
but you got a clear shot right now, so that, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, it's not going to affect anything. There's nothing in the way, so it'll be a new line, clean line right there. That's all heavy construction too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I believe that is our last department that we have. At the end of your budget packet, we did include the standalone capital that is included in the fleet. So it has all of the departments that are requesting vehicles that would be purchased in-house, not through enterprise, and all of the justification sheets follow those. Were there any questions on those?
Any question on the standalones?
Nope.
No, I'm good, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Karina, thank you. I know there were some issues with the way the budget was presented, and I think that John has chatted with me about, and I believe that there'll be some different ways of doing next year's as well. And I think that I liked the presentation that you put forward. And so, anyway, I appreciate the council hanging in there for this budget. Mayor, Vice Mayor, thank you so much for conducting it and rolling it through. I appreciate that. So, okay. All right, brings us to item 9.1, Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee. Jamie.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'd also like to welcome the members from the committee that have attended this evening. At the last council meeting, Councilman Lopez requested discussion regarding the committee going forward. The Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee was established in 2021 and has made significant progress in its advisory role for the council. At the time the committee was established, no term limits were set and no termination date was set for the committee. Staff requests direction with the following two options. One, bring a resolution in May to continue the committee with term limits, etc. Or number two, bring a resolution to council in May to sunset the committee. So this gives an opportunity for the council to decide moving forward what direction they'd like the committee to go. With that, I'll stand for questions.
Go ahead.
Jamie, if I'm remembering correctly, the current committee members all would like to remain.
Yes, and the three of them have attended tonight. And they also, I forwarded a letter from the chairperson.
Right.
Yes.
Jamie, this committee will not be used for anything else, just Parks and Recs, or?
That's up to the council. With needing to bring a resolution either way, that would be to your discretion and discussion of what you'd like them to encompass. At this time, most of the group is interested in Parks and Recreation.
Go ahead.
Mayor, just a quick comment. So my recommendation would be that if we do go forward, and again, that's your choice, that we sunset them now for the current tasking and then we retask them. So if we went forward, we would bring back another resolution that would lay out specifically what they would do going forward. So the process would be basically sunset them for the current tasking and then retask them again with any additional items that you wanted to see them move forward with.
I like that.
I think a little bit of issue that happened was before any councilman ever got home that night, it was, there was some issues out there. And, it, you know, really hurt, you know, to think that we just felt that we didn't listen to you guys and that we just changed everything from what you had presented to us. And I think as you found out, that wasn't necessarily true, that we actually liked and agreed with the presentation and wanted to see the park at Discovery move forward in its extremities. And we allocated quite a bit of funds for it. I mean, I had to pull some wisdom teeth from some people, but we got, you know, we got it. And so I think that's the thing is we, you know, give us a chance to work out the details without, I guess, being offended that we didn't listen to you. That's my only thing. Anybody else have anything else? Because I think that they would be an asset to continue working with us and to continue moving forward. I think Jamie stepped into that role of orchestrating it, correct?
Yes, and I've been working with the chair, and we've been going through the process of how the advisory role for the council works. And after that meeting, we had a long talk on a Saturday, and we're going through the way the process works for these things. And it's been a giant learning curve for the committee, and I've been mentoring the chair as we go along just to educate the committee on the process, and I'm willing to do that in the future as well.
I mean, I've had the chair's kids at my house too, running with my kids, so I love them. I think it's great. I think it's we're working together, and that's the thing. And sometimes we don't always get what we want.
Yes.
But yet it's what we do with it and how we promote it. There's times I don't get everything I want up here, but yet, you know what, the council we still massage it and we still work through it, and, you know, we have to go on. Anybody else have any questions? Councilman Lopez?
I agree with John so far. His recommendations and everything I read beforehand was he was looking to dissolve this one, although he wants some kind of committee in some of his evaluation stuff that he put forward. He wants a committee of some kind. That's one of his goals and stuff. So, but I'm for sunsetting this one so we can reconvene and restructure it again and get it going, because they put in a lot of hours, and they did, once they got the process down, that worked good. But it didn't start out real good. But I think it's going forward. And I certainly want to have these eyes on how we're progressing and how the footprint is coming along. And
absolutely. I think they're a huge role that they could help play in design and development as well. You know, I mean, we just hold the purse strings and let them, you know, shoot what we can, and then of course we'll cut where we need to cut and go from there. So I think that pointed you in a direction that
yes,
you'll bring something back to the council, correct?
Yes, sir. And then I will continue mentoring the members as well about the process as we move forward.
Yeah, I just want you guys to know I appreciate all your hard work. I really, really do. We value that. Every one of us up here value what you guys have put into it, and don't think for a second that we don't value your input. Thank you.
So, Mayor, should we bring back a resolution to sunset?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Item 10.1, Resolution R22-14, Spa Project Contract 2021-2, Power Purchasing Agreement. Jason?
Thank you, Mayor, council, and council members. Tonight we have with us Dennis Delaney with KR Saline, who will be taking any technical questions specific to these contracts, but just want to lay these out. So back in April of 2021, council directed staff to obtain additional energy resources for the city of Safford for the future. In that step one process, we were directed to look towards to try and get about 10 additional megawatts for the city of Safford. Tonight is part two of that process. In this first resolution, the Box Canyon Agreement, this is an agreement for SPA to purchase the output from a solar power generating facility. It'll be about 9.8 megawatts would be our portion of that purchase. If we say yes to this resolution to purchase this additional power, we also have a second resolution that needs to come forward, and that would be for the power purchasing agreement. And so that would be a second resolution that both of those would need to be approved this evening after our discussion. What this does specifically, this contract would make us members of a group of participating SPA members that are interested in projects specifically for additional electrical resources, and so that's what these two resolutions would do for us. Now, there'd be a step three later on this year in the fall where we would come back with a final agreement. But tonight, specifically looking in the Box Canyon project, it's a contract between vendors and sellers. And typically our market share, we have 20.6 megawatts is what we use. That power we need, that provides all the power we need except for our peak times in the summer, at which point we purchase power on the open market. And as any open market, we know that's not always at a price that we appreciate. And so this would provide that additional need that we have and then provide additional power for us moving into the future. It also diversifies our portfolio in bringing in this solar powered energy, which is something that we don't currently have in our portfolio. The power purchasing agreement, the second agreement there, is a mechanism that allows any members of SPA that want to participate to interact with these sellers to obtain these capacities. And the vendors need commitments from these participating members, and so that's really what this does, is commit us to be a part of the group that's looking towards purchasing this power from the Box Canyon project. If approved, the city of Safford is committing to support the group as a whole. When those prices come back in November, all of the participating members of that group would vote. And if 70% of that participating group voted, we would be in that participating group to move forward with the pricing that would be determined at that point in time. But really tonight we're looking specifically for the approval to move forward with these two resolutions so that we can make that commitment moving forward.
So you're also doing 15 at the same time, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's
Councilman
14 and
Lopez,
15.
do you have a chance to look through this?
I have, and this, he's got his hands full, Mayor. This is a big contract, and there's a lot of, no wonder you brought Mr. Delaney, because there's a lot to it.
There is.
And I know you're gonna be getting training on it you gotta be on top of it. When you say membership, is this a new membership group, or is it still part of the SPA?
So it's a group of members. So SPA has all of their members available. This is a group specifically that's willing to participate in additional power purchasing. So not all the members of SPA are interested in that expansion of their capacities, but we would be a part of that group specifically. And the project specifically that we're talking about is this Box Canyon project.
How many groups do you think we got coming our way too? What participation do you think we have already? Diversifying is something we have to do. We need to do that. And then branching out to the solar, that's on the horizon for sure. But just, are we gonna remain strong?
So Mayor Kaus and Councilman Lopez, this project, obviously, we're not a huge portion of this. Our 9.8 megawatts that we're looking at purchasing is actually only 3.27% of the participating power purchase that's available to us. That meets the council's direction that we received back in April, but it's really a small portion of that project.
That's why I'm wanting to know about the others, if they're coming along good, or, 'cause there's quite a few members in the spa.
There is.
Especially the natives, there's a few of those too.
So if we look inside the contract, it has it broken down specifically what those purchasing percentages are of all the individuals that are interested in participating in this project specifically. I don't have those memorized. It's in the resolution, and like I said, we're just a small 3.27% of that, but
Like I said, Mr. Brimhall, this is a big one.
it is. And it really sets us up for the future moving forward, right? We don't necessarily need this power today or tomorrow, but it really sets us up for our summer peaks where we're not purchasing on that open market at high rates, and then it allows us that flexibility into the future as we're diversifying our portfolio for that set. You know, if you guys listen at all to, you know, some of our power production comes out of natural gas, some of it comes out of, and those costs are continuing to increase through natural gas. We also have it through our water system and some of those hydroelectric plants, and those percentages where we're going to be able to get that as we move forward is continuing to drop as those water levels in our drought level. And so it really just gives us that diversification where we're stronger in our power purchases as we move forward.
Well, that's what I agree with, Mayor. We have to be looking. We have to be seeing what's on the horizon. And I believe same Mr. Delaney is working with the others, so hopefully it's well, no, we got to diversify. Stay diversified. I believe that's how I need to say it.
Mayor?
Go ahead, Councilman
Just had a
Seal.
comment. I work at the Cotton Gin, and in Arizona we have a group, Arizona Cotton Gin Association. Also meet with the Arizona Cotton Growers, and we have a joint meeting in Flagstaff every year. And every year we've had speakers who have come and talked to us about water issues. But this is the first year that there's a lot of concern about power issues. And so that's been included in our meeting because, you know, water's been a problem for a long time. It's getting worse. But this power issue is a big deal now. Of course, cotton gins and farmers are high power users, and you know, they talk about the increased charges, you know, just going throughout the day. They'll be paying a huge amount for an hour or two, and then it'll drop. And so I think anything we can do to solidify our ability to secure power, we need to be looking at.
Okay.
Mayor, do we need one motion, or do we need?
You just need a motion for both resolution R22-14 and then
So moved.
R22-15.
So moved.
Motion. And I have a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Would you go ahead and read that into him?
Resolution number R22-014, a resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of Safford, Graham County, Arizona, approving participation in a spa project contract number 2021-2 to acquire additional solar-based electric resources needed to ensure electric resource availability for the city of Safford.
Okay.
Resolution R22-015, a resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of Safford, Graham County, Arizona, approving and authorizing the execution of the Box Canyon resale agreement.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Bring us to reports, expenses over 5,000.
I think his time's up.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I got something
I see
like,
a lot of yellow marks.
there's a gob of them, but I'm not bringing all of them. I just, one is like when we have fuel consumption, we're paying like, say, 40,000 for fuel, but but it doesn't say how many gallons. So I can't figure out how much we're paying per gallon. Plus, I'm not sure we use any more red fuel. Do we still use red fuel? Because I saw clear fuel purchase, but are we using red out on here? Do we get a discount for that anywhere? Just if you'd add how many gallons we bought, so I can figure out.
Councilman Lopez, I'll have to actually go back to the office and research into the gallons and whether or not we're still utilizing the red fuel. And I can get you an answer for that in the morning.
Okay, thank you.
Did she answer your other question?
Yeah, she's gonna get back on the amount of gallons and whether we're still utilizing red fuel.
Okay. So can we move on to revenue?
Yes, sir.
Okay, revenue of over 5,000.
Time's up.
I already told Gabe I wasn't gonna mention his, so it's good to go.
We're good to go? Okay.
Yeah.
Purchasing P-card report, did you have a chance to look at that as well? We good on that one?
Yes, sir.
I guess the purchasing P-card report has been itemized pretty good. I mean, I haven't heard anything on those anymore. I mean, so I think they're pretty on top of that
They're
now.
still, they
Little
got,
bit, but you're taking care of that?
we got new people
Okay,
and they're going through, the description helps a lot.
yeah,
The description, I think, would help your department too when they process it, what it is.
okay.
So when we read it, we know what it's for. There's
Perfect.
less questions.
All right, moving right along, we're going to items 12, announcement of current events. Do we have any?
Mayor,
Go ahead.
I do have something. Is the council interested in doing anything for May 7th for Cinco de Mayo? I won't be here. I'll be at a mariachi conference.
What's more important, your mariachi conference or your Cinco de Mayo here? in
My
South?
mariachi conference, I paid a lot of money.
Wow, Mikey. Yeah, we definitely need to do something, so who are you going to turn that over to?
Brad.
Brad, will you get us a truck and everything that we need to do to?
We'll visit.
Okay.
Will you make him some flowers we can put on the?
Yeah, red and green and, yeah.
We've got it, Toyota.
The green leafy stuff, yeah.
Perfect.
You need your sombrero.
And the zarape.
Right, thank you.
I've got 'em.
Okay. And anybody else? Item 13, report on operational items. Danielle, I think you're up on this one.
Mayor?
Oh, go ahead.
With a little intro, and then Danielle's going to go over some of the programs that we're doing.
Okay.
So I took some information out of the budget, actually, Cabrina provided this. So I know there's been some concerns about the travel and training, so I thought, well, let's just bring the budget numbers out and show you what we've done. So on this slide, it just simply breaks down travel and training by department, and shows basically an $11,750 increase. Now, this is general fund only. HR's budget went down, police went up a little bit, and as did community development and building safety. As you know, we've been trying to emphasize as part of going forward, trying to encourage as part of the ways of supporting employees, not just with salary and benefits, but also encouraging some travel and training. And of course, obviously, the past couple of years with COVID, it's been down anyway. So I just wanted you to kind of help you rest a little easier to show you that, you know, we didn't go in and we did not take out of the department budgets any of their travel and training money. Anything that has been, that goes negative here was by the choice of the department themselves. And then this one gives you all the funds citywide. So you can see that overall, it's increased by $34,000. Obviously, that includes all the utility funds and the internal services. So again, overall, the travel and training budget for the city increased by $34,000. Now, this does not include the $30,000 that we talked about for training executive management. And so again, that's budgeted elsewhere. And the reason is that all of the budgets that you see here are for the departments training their own people. The 30,000 or 28 that we have for the consultant for the executive management training is something that is a program that Human Resources is running, but on behalf of external departments. So that money is budgeted elsewhere. So again, the only point here is to say, you know, any concerns about kind of taking money out of the department's budgets, we didn't reduce any travel and training. If anything, we increased it. So what Danielle's gonna do, and again, if you have any questions, I'll take those first, and then Danielle's gonna speak specifically to programs that are being run and some new things that we're actually doing with the departments that don't cost us any money.
Well, I just felt the comment had been made that Councilman Lopez brought up the bad morale. And when I asked about it, it's like training was gonna be given to the leaders because of bad morale. Now, I'm not indicating that these department heads are the cause of bad morale. But to me, it made it sound like I was insinuating that that's what was taking place. I want to let you know I don't feel that way at all. I think I see, I run around, you know I go see, and I don't believe you guys are causing any bad morale, okay? I just want that said.
Okay, Mayor, Councilman Lopez, just what I discussed in the council meeting that night was the fact that we were approaching morale on multiple levels, one of which was travel and training. So it's just that we're obviously focused on it. We've been talking about salaries and benefits. That's only one aspect of it. We've done some things even internal to changing the buildings a little bit. So again, the intention was never to imply that somehow the departments had negative morale. I just wanted council to understand that we were trying to approach morale on every single level we could, including things like employee recognition. So again, I see it as somewhat of a layer cake where we're approaching it at different levels. So hopefully there wasn't a misunderstanding on that. And with that, I'll turn it over to Danielle.
Okay.
If I can stop it from mirroring.
So as mentioned, this presentation is to bring discussion and clarity to the HR training plan for fiscal year 22-23 and the amount budgeted for this initiative. First thing we have is executive and department head training. $30,000 was budgeted for training specific to department heads only, and this is not in relation to individual departmental or staff training. This training is part of an effort to properly provide department heads with skills needed to be productive leaders and manage their departments strategically. So what I did is I reached out to the Arizona League of Cities and Towns for recommendations on management training, and the most highly recommended resource that came back was Government Leadership Solutions by Dr. Maria Church, and she specializes in municipality training in Arizona. She does things such as leadership workshops, executive coaching, team building retreats, and training and development solutions. So through her services, we've set up executive coaching for the city manager, which includes coaching sessions and assessments. And then we've set up 4 leadership workshops for the department heads. Those workshops are going to be on a quarterly basis where Dr. Church's team comes out in person. And they are communication to connection, team dynamics, the good, bad, ugly, and how to manage through conflict, leading with emotional intelligence, and servant leadership. Any questions on the department head training setup?
So this lady is going to come to our facility and teach this course?
She is. They're half-day
And
workshops
so
once a quarter.
we're spending $30,000 to get her here, to have her teach only the city manager and our department heads. Why wouldn't we take full value of her, unless she says my cap's 150 people? If not, if it is, then let's fill this room up with 150 people. Put me there, sign me up, because I need this. I need good servant leadership. Good heck.
Mayor, council member, it is by head count. So that cost was for 12 to 15.
Damn, that's pretty good money.
One-on-one training.
Come on, Councilman, come on.
Touch that one.
Go ahead, Daniel.
So the next thing we have is all staff training. We had a learning management system in place already, and it is through Vector Solutions, and it's free through our membership with the Arizona Municipal Risk Retention Pool. Staff had been completing training only at hire. So in an effort to implement annual training for all staff, instead of just at hire, HR reached out to the department heads and provided a list of trainings that were available through that LMS. Department heads selected the annual trainings they preferred for their staff. So along with what the department heads have selected that they want their employees to be trained on, HR created a list of what should be required yearly as far as trainings and combined those two, so that the department heads had their input, and then based on my recommendation, the employees are getting training on things that are required annually, such as like bloodborne pathogens and safety training, that kind of thing, fire training, back safety training, that sort of thing. So starting in July, the online training selected by department heads, as well as what HR selected as required, will be sent out for completion, and then annually after that to all staff. These online trainings are at no additional cost to the City of Safford and do not affect any trainings that departments are currently providing for their staff. Departmental budgets for training remain at the discretion of the department heads, and HR will continue to request a budget through council for management training moving forward, as was done for fiscal year 22-23. Any questions on any of that?
It's probably different from department to department, Danielle, but do you have an idea of when employees would do these trainings?
So they'll be given a whole year to do them.
But when, during their workday, while they're on the clock?
On the clock, yeah. It's preferred that they do it on the clock so they're getting paid to do the training.
Okay. Yeah, my only concern would be if they were having to do it on their own time.
No, they should be doing it while they work, and then we can provide computers in HR and other places for them if we need to.
Thank you.
Did you want to add anything, John?
No.
Any other questions?
No.
Thank you.
It's a lot of money. Consulting, that's a lot of money. I throw a fit over Bowman's consulting price, holy crap. 12 people, $30,000.
All right, good evening, Mayor and Council. I want to take an opportunity to briefly just kind of update you all on 20th Avenue project. You may or may not have heard there's a cement shortage. We moved on from toilet paper to cement. So a couple weeks ago, we got notice from the contractor and all the suppliers in town that cement is being cut back due to Cal Portland shutting one of their plants down in the valley for maintenance. So we've hit that limit to where they're limiting this contractor 20 yards of concrete a week. Productivity is almost to a standstill. We're working with ADOT and the contractor to come with a solution, and it looks like it's probably going to be a delay in the project, probably month and a half, shut down till mid-June. Right now, they're looking at maybe keeping the time running, but doing an extension at the end of the project. I've talked to them a little bit about doing that. Maybe we do have Sholo Construction in town that's starting the Reclaim Waterline project, and if it freed up some guys, maybe they could come do some work in the meantime and still extend the end. But everything that we're doing requires cement. We need cement to make the concrete for curb, sidewalk. We have cement in the ground. We have cement admixture in the asphalt. Everything's got cement in it, and we need a lot more than 20 yards a week. So that's what we're working on right now. All the details haven't been decided yet, but we have hit the halfway point in the project, calendar day wise. We're a little past the halfway point, but we're looking to probably extend it out a little longer until we can get some cement productivity out. I don't know if you guys have heard anything about it. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. But that's where we're at with it. If they were to shut down, there'd be a stipulation in there. They'd have to maintain traffic control, any storm cleanup, anything that comes up, they would have to keep it intact while it's shut down. They mentioned there wouldn't be any additional cost to us, maybe some minor extension on the traffic control, which they claimed would only be a few $100s. The alternative is to force them to work under non-productive conditions, which would cost us a fortune because they would have to keep their crews here unproductive, basically.
Anybody have any questions for Lance on the 20th Avenue project?
No, that'd make you say bad words.
Yeah. Thanks, Lance, for that
Yep,
update.
you're welcome.
We're gonna go ahead and close our regular meeting and reconvene to a work session. You guys need a 5-minute break?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
You gonna make it?
I ain't going nowhere. Sitting right here, buddy.
You're my man.
All right, we're back in work session. Councilman Lopez, I believe this work session, you want to open it up?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I brought these items up because I don't always have the opportunity to talk to all of you. There's a limit on how many I can talk to at one time. I don't have the luxury of being able to talk to you guys through emails. I don't think I was elected to conduct business through emails, but to have it out in the open at meetings and stuff when we talk about things. Some of these are, you may consider petty, but they concern me. And so we'll gather from it what we do. The Chase property, I was just asking where we stood with it, where it's going. Updates were supposed to come my way and give me an idea where we stood with things. I mentioned, where's the update on it? Because I knew we were having activities downtown, and I wondered where we are with that. And come to find out, the next day, they talked about parking on the radio. So I just wanted to be update, because the main thing is, I have to update the community. I have people to answer to. They want to know what's going on and stuff, and when I tell them, well, I don't know, then they say, well, what good are you doing on that board? You know? What good are you doing up there? You can't even give us a little answer on a simple little thing. And so that's why I asked about the Chase property on that, an update. It's supposed to be coming that way. The Sanchez property.
So let's talk about the Chase property together. So, because I think that, can we hit these items one by one? Is that okay with you?
Yes, sir, if you want. It's so for discussion, it's just to not want to talk about things.
Well, the thing is, I want to be able to talk with you as well because of the open meeting laws that we have to, and I understand your concern because, you know, John and Tammy can send out an email to all of us, but we can't respond. And it's like I'm itching to sit there and text back or type back, and you know, you have to pull the strings back. But I believe the Chase property, did it not start in E-session? Did it start in E-session? Is that where it started?
Well, we've gotten guidelines for where we were going in E-session, and I wasn't here to talk about any of that going. You know, I have an idea of where some of it is, but I just want to know. That's all I want to know, Mayor, is where we stand with it.
So just basically an update.
An update.
And
I was told I would be updated.
And is it the council, you know, and so I want it, so I understand that, and update would be appreciative as well, so, okay. Anybody else want to talk about the Chase property up here? And help with any concerns or anything?
Well, other than what got sent in the email, to me, those, we did get updated on after Mr. Lopez asked. Aren't these all the updates from the email?
Those are, but later on you'll see, after talking to several of you, which several to me is 3 or more, which I don't have that advantage to talk to 3 or more of you, then we got information. So it's just, and my wife said, don't be a crybaby, but it sure makes you a little upset when you're told something and it don't take place. And then when you're put off a little bit, but then when everybody else kind of has the same idea, then we get the information.
So I understand what you're feeling.
Yeah.
Is you're feeling that your voice wasn't listened to.
I cannot go tell, okay, the employees don't belong to me.
Right.
I cannot
yeah,
and I cannot give the manager any guidance on them by myself.
Right.
It has to be along in a meeting.
Okay.
And I don't give him orders, I don't give anybody orders at all. So I have to be able to talk through you, and that's what I'm trying to do here when we.
So you felt that I want to dissect this. So when it went before and there got a little bit more verbiage going around, then it seemed to you seemed to get that update. I think that's understandable, and I think that's easily rectified, and I think it's so noted. And yeah, I agree with you. That's okay. Is you guys okay with that? Can we move on to the Sanchez Road? Is that-
Yeah,
are you okay
because
with
you
that?
all did get a mail. Based on conversations with several of you, I will be making the following changes. And then it took you guys to help me.
Okay,
So,
all right.
okay. Now, the Sanchez Road property, that I was asked about by a citizen, and so I made the inquiries through the channels I thought would take place. And I know we're having trouble there because people didn't bid on it because it's out there. And I understand that, it fell through. But I was again told, what's the person's name, who are they, we will let them know what's going on. So that tells me they're gonna keep in contact with the person, which is, we do, you know, we have a lot of citizens we answer to, and it makes it good for us to be able to turn it over to staff, especially when they tell you they will, to update these people. But then, you know, we also got another email that said, I won't be making these notifications, they will have to contact us, which I understand. If we went to every single citizen on what their stuff, we'd be chasing them down left and right. But when you're told you will update them, that's a different story.
Right, so, okay, so I think, John, are you hearing kind of the understanding that I'm even hearing in the fact that it would be nice when any one of us asks you a question that it doesn't take three of us to move it along?
Yes.
And that we could get back to the, and I do appreciate the fact that you respond to all of the council because we're all an executive board. I mean, as well as the main party maybe first, and then, and then tag them first, and then the rest of them. I don't know how you guys email everything. I try my email stuff, and I'm sure some of you guys are laughing at me this morning. Danielle's probably laughing at my email. But anyway, so I finally can understand, and I think that you understand those things that help us update, and then of course get it to all of us. So I really forgot anything about the Sanchez Road property. So it is kind of nice to know what we were trying to do with it. So I appreciate that.
It's involved, man.
It is.
It's
Okay.
involved.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we okay to go on to 3? Or you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Turn on. Employee ID cards. This was just an idea that, okay, if you have a government ID card, lots of times you can get discounts. You know, you may get a discount at a motel. They say, do you have a government card? And yeah, and there's plenty of discounts if you have a card. Not only that, I was saying about in town here with the vendors and the businesses and stuff, can we talk to them through economic stuff? Can we talk to them to where the businesses can say, oh, City of Safford ID card, let me give you a little discount. It was something that I thought might help us out a little bit on that. And it was just a wish list, you know.
I have one, and I thought we always gave them out. I didn't know that we ever quit giving them out.
The machine, while Mr. Skeet was here and stuff, the machine went down.
Okay.
But it's gonna be costly, but we don't know how much it is. I almost think that it just didn't wanna be done.
Yeah, I know that if you tell me I have to wear an ID card, I would definitely tell you, well, Councilman Lopez, I wouldn't want to wear an ID card, but I would definitely carry something in my wallet that was credit card look.
That's where we get to the other part, Mayor.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
That's what I was asking for, was an ID card. Card, that was specified the entire time. But then when we got a message that there's been a survey going on, and we will add it to the question, it was identified as an ID tag.
Okay.
Now, nobody wants to wear a tag.
I don't want to wear no tag.
They're gonna say, now we're gonna have to wear a tag every day. And you can make an ID card that you can use for a tag too, whatever, but I was talking cards. So when you asked that question, and the question was simple, do you think you will benefit from an ID tag, yes or no? Most people are gonna say no.
Right.
So I don't feel it was represented correctly.
Yeah, I as a work session item, I actually see nothing wrong with it. I just, of course, you know, I mean, I feel like we've been pretty free with money this go around, that I would be interested to see what it would cost. I think they're really cool. The one I have, it goes right in my slot with the city credit card, which I don't use. But if I ever go somewhere, I show them that and the government, you know, my government ID card, and then yes, I do get my hotel a little bit cheaper sometimes. Sometimes they say your government, oh, we'll charge you more too, you know. But, so sometimes that does work. So I personally would like to see the interest, or I wouldn't say the interest, I would say, I would like to see numbers of what that would cost to come back to us.
A true number.
A true number.
I even got discounts with auto parts. You know, parts on your vehicle and stuff. They honored that I had a government ID. Now, we may have to talk to some of these businesses, but it's just a simple little idea that got beat down from the start.
Well, I like it. I think if we could figure out the machine, get it working, I think IT doesn't have enough to do. If they could somehow, you know, clean their desks off upstairs, I'm just playing with you guys, don't be offended, I'm just playing. And open up that machine and see if we can fix it, you know, and make my face look pretty when I get a new picture updated.
I think it's worth looking into. If it don't work, it don't work. But look into it with the true meaning behind it.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, talk about ID card, you don't have to have it printed up on a machine and all this bunch of stuff. The Legion, you get a cardboard card, it's just a plain cardboard card. I chose to get one of
hard
these
lamination on it.
Yeah, and that's it. It doesn't take a card that, you know, makes you look good.
So it's hey, I want to look good. Look at my gray hair.
That costs
Vice
money.
Mayor.
You're gonna do filters now?
Yeah, I want 3 pictures to choose from. Right? Don't they give that to you at the driver's license? Anyway, I do like the idea of that, and I think that it's something definitely worth John bringing us something that you could find or IT could find that would work. It'd be really simple and process that. That's me.
If they're worth having there, of course. If they're worth
Well, I think they're worth having.
I think there's some possibility.
Okay.
Should we just go ahead and pursue that, or should we go through with the survey?
I wouldn't go through with no survey. I think there's too much animosity towards a survey. I think blame me. That the mayor wants to see some of this happen and just make it work. And just, I mean, if it comes back at $50,000 and that's a true number, then it's now up to us to make that decision.
That scares me.
Okay, so.
And if we're not requiring it to be worn or anything,
exactly.
I get one every year without
at the school
requesting it. We take our picture and then it goes in my desk and it never leaves.
Right.
And even though there are some businesses Pizza Hut will do 10% if I show it, and I never remember to.
Right.
But I have it.
Yeah.
If we get them an ID card and they get discounts all through the town, it might help morale.
Yeah, it could. It could. So let's look into that one. Can we go on?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The IGA, I asked about it. I know we're not done with the IG agreement or anything like that. But again, the public asked me questions about it. Everybody got the email from the one gal that went to Mr. Ragland being concerned about a volleyball league and stuff like that. And not to get out ahead of I had an idea who may be working the IGA should it go forward. I knew Jamie was possibly who it was. But I didn't want to answer all the way and get out ahead and promise staff to something that I opened my mouth on. So I wanted to make sure where it was going and who we were going to end up notifying. But I wasn't going to do that till it was told to all of us that that's where we were going. But just a little info on it. Yes, it is going to be Jamie, or no, it's not, and stuff like that. There's recognition.
And you know what, Arnold, I can take probably some of that heat off on myself on the IGA, but once again, I'm limited to who I could share stuff with, because I knew that I had signed some agreements with John and with Tammy to move forward with it, but the school board, they don't meet as often as we do, and so it was always just a tad bit on the backside. and I've met with Mr. Taylor as well, and he likes everything, but everything anymore moves so dang, I'm sorry guys, so dang slow that we have to have our lawyers look at every single freaking dot and comma and everything, and then once we approve it and our attorneys approve it, then it goes to them, and they need to get all their ducks in a row before Mr. Taylor takes it to the school board for his approval, because he doesn't want to have anything misrepresented. So I could take a little bit of the blame for not having this in the announcement of current events, because I knew that we were in the process of the IGA, and so if you would just excuse give me a tad bit of I'm sorry, I hope that works, that I helped drop the ball on the IGA with the schools. I knew a lot that was going on, and I just didn't interact with you guys as much as I should have, so I apologize to all of you guys. So I'll take.
I don't think it takes that level of it. But
Well,
anyway,
I took some of it. Does anybody have a problem with the IGA to the school? We looked at it. Does everybody like it? I think it's a huge step moving forward. Is everybody okay with that? Aren't you okay with that?
Yeah,
too?
I'm excited about the agreement. I'm looking forward to it. That's kind of why
Okay.
earlier I was asking you to keep that in mind when you were giving money away.
Right.
And sometimes that's where the problem comes in, is we get more eager than the process allows for.
Right.
I've had conversations with the current principal, who's also my choice for the recreation committee, and he's ready to, we've got to do some construction and work on fields, but he's ready to schedule the gym right now. And sometimes, it's just, it gets exciting.
It does.
But then it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, and again, Jamie's not gonna be there 24/7 monitoring.
She's not?
We're trying to facilitate somebody that wants to do the program. I tried to word it like that. We're not gonna run this for you. We're gonna help you with it. And, that was my
Absolutely.
answer with that one.
Okay.
And I wanted to make sure I didn't throw Jamie under the bus.
Okay, gotcha.
Also with I'm gonna back up a bit with the Chase Bank property, it was, we got an agreement, they made a price, this and that, we're all going, but there's one item there we're looking to ignore out. I'm not sure what ignore out means.
Iron out.
What?
Iron out.
Iron out, okay, iron out. I was looking at it with a mean eye.
Don't look at it with a mean eye.
Yeah, okay. Because most of this is, I got a feeling I'm being ignored.
Okay.
Again, I hear my wife quick wah-wahing.
Yeah, we'll get to that all at the bottom
Okay.
here. So, we good with the IGA?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's move on to 5.
Administrative guidelines. I apparently was so confused, they're gonna change one of the words to a policy deal. But anyway, I am concerned about the policy guidelines and the policy, what comes before us, what not. I know that if it has to do with the purse strings, that's a good deal. But some of the other stuff, I don't necessarily want to know exactly what they're doing, but I have to answer to people on what was done. So a little bit of briefing on stuff, then I can again go to the people and tell them I got an idea what was going on. Some things are important, some are not.
And I know that I've been educated myself, because when I hear the word policy, I instantly think that it got to go before the board. I'm sorry, whatever we are, council, chamber. I've always felt that any policy does. And then when I got educated through the city attorney and as well as John, that I learned that things that we control, such as quote unquote, and I can use this because it's been used in verbiage before, the purse strings, meaning things that we deals with finance, deals with money, needs to go before us, and we help with those policy changes. And I always thought administrative even went before us too, but as I, process, and excuse me for my attire, you guys, just bear with me for maybe another 2 weeks, and after that, I'll promise you, I'll suit up, because by the way, you men look handsome out there. So, I appreciate you presenting the way you do, and you ladies too, I don't wanna leave you out, okay? And so, but, if John makes a dress code change that says the mayor always has to wear a guideline, or wear a suit and tie, that's, he can't do that, but something for the workers. I I think I like the idea of hearing about it, as you said. And then it gets enacted to where if, Joe calls me up and says, man, I have to now wear a suit every time I present with an ID card, then, it's like, oh, wait, we never said that. Well, it sure is. It sure went down that way. But so I understand the stuff, but you're saying you agree. I want to hear what you're saying. You're saying you agree with the policies that come before us with that attached to the purse strings, as you said, but you want to be kept in, could I use the word real time, as we have it in here, of what happens with administrative changes, correct? Is that what you're stating?
No, there's policy, purse strings, yes, that's our business.
That's our business.
We make policy and budget, that's understood.
Okay.
That one probably in writing. I can't find the other one in writing, other than it's just a norm that happens in the council manager way of government.
Okay.
I don't find anywhere where it's written down that way, but even if it was, we could probably change that if we want to.
If we did, yeah, you're right.
And there's some policies we probably, after the budget stuff, we need to look forward on how we're dealing with that.
Okay.
If any of you got any questions about it, because nobody, staff, us, or manager, nobody should have free reign at anything.
So would you like to, let's get through this budget cycle and approve this, and would you like to actually have an agenda item where we bring up that this form of government wants to make it to, Arnold, I want to understand, and so if I'm beating this, if I'm trying too hard, please tell me. But would you like it to come back as an agenda item where this governing board is over all administrative policies, and remove the word guidelines, just to say all administrative policies, such as changes in the HR handbook, changes in the whatever, that doesn't really affect purse strings?
We may be going too far with some of that, but
Okay.
we should have a conversation on how we want to deal with policies, and how we, I just don't want to be told, these are what concern you, these don't, so don't worry about it.
Okay.
I don't like being told that way.
Okay, okay.
If we're agreeing on guidelines and ethics and things like that on how we're going to treat one another, then that's what we're going to do.
Right, okay, I understand what you're saying. I do.
Okay, that was my extent, and the point I wanted to get across was, if we're, don't just tell me that's the way it's gonna be and you're gonna like it.
Okay.
I wouldn't like that for you. I wouldn't wanna leave that in another council to get treated that way either.
Okay.
And I'm not jumping out there and saying that's totally the way it is, but I sure don't want it to get away from us.
So what I want to do is I want to get through this, for this one here, I want to get through this entire budget, get that off.
Yep.
Everybody take a big gulp and big deep breath, and then I'm going to ask for this to be brought
Yeah,
on
'cause
the
they're-
agenda, not as a necessarily an action item, but to where we can have a little bit more depth of discussion and a little bit more paperwork, and I hope by then everything will I can understand a little bit more on this as well, okay?
I want you back 100%.
Okay, all right, because I understand, so, okay, great. Anybody have anything on this one? Okay, for discussion, I mean, that's what we're here for, so let's go on to item 6. Are you ready to move on to item 6?
We touched 6 pretty good
Okay,
today.
so, go ahead.
Well, then I just want to make one comment, and it's in general. As far as like say Chase, the road, IGA with the school and all that. I don't know, this has always been something that I've always done. If somebody, a citizen comes and approaches me and asks me something, and if I don't have the answer, I tell them, give me your phone number, I will be back when, I'll get back with you, I'm gonna go find out. And I get in touch with them, no matter what it is. That's just my comment.
Okay.
And I would reiterate that, I would agree with that, and I've never had any problem getting an answer from anybody that I've asked. I don't wanna, I realize we have to address what we have to address, but I wouldn't want that impression to be there either, that I haven't ever been able to find out what I've needed to find out.
I know that it does get, and I'm sure you guys are aware, it does get frustrating when you walk down, Main Street knows before anything. You walk down, I'm just saying at a Walmart or wherever, you walk down a store and you're like, all of a sudden something comes out and you're like, oh, I didn't know about that. Well, yeah, you guys adopted it. And I'm like, oh, shoot, here we go, So I understand. I really personally, do you have anything else?
No, I'm good.
I really personally think what happened here is just a lack of, for better terms, and I'm just going to say it, of communication, of good open dialogue communication. And I think that there's tonight we listed some of these, and I hope that there's going to be that bridge that'll fill in that gap, and that we can be updated. If individually we come to you, John, that you update me, and then boom, hit send. But of course, it has to be on a two-way street. I'm sure John thinks I've ignored him on 100,000 phone calls that he's tried calling me, and it's just I just don't feel like conducting city business. And sorry guys, I'll just tell you straight up. So I didn't answer a dang one of them, and then but the thing is, I think every person wants to be respected. Every person wants to be heard, and when you hear from the party that complains, what do they really want? They want to be heard, right? They want to you can settle down almost anybody by just letting them talk. And once they get it out, then you can be like, okay, now I can understand the point and stuff. And so I think these were good items to communicate on. I understand the point that you get flustered when you can't have dialogue with everybody. And then, one email comes out, you can't dialogue, and the next thing you know, you're just stuck at a crossroad. And then if it does seem like, well, there was a little bit of murmur, and then it did get the ball rolling, I understand that there's some frustrations in that. I get that. So I think we hit these out. I want to see some employee cards. I want to see that move forward. I want to see the council updated as much trees as you can cut them down. And we won't have to use that $100 relocation fee. Let's take a big deep breath after this budget item, and let's bring back this administrative guidelines for an actual deal and not a work session. I think we can move on to that one. I think our Parks and Committee one has been addressed, and I think I hope that answered a lot of your.
I hope so.
I really do. I hope it did. I think it did. And so.
Then I move we adjourn.
Second. Motion and a second. Any discussion?